Coming up, it's solidly GA, but really cool. We fly the Cirrus Vision Jet.
Landing really short in Valdez and drones taking the stage.
Plus, she's headed around the world. Find out why. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
Build and flying with the Sonex Aircraft B models. The B models offer more room and comfort, more fuel, more panel space, more engine choices, and the same great Sonex Aircraft flight characteristics. Learn more at sonexaircraft.com.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Redinger.
Competition is in the best interest of everybody.
And AOPA wants FBO competition at airports. Your association has fired the first legal salvo to get it.
Jackson Hole Airport in Wyoming has just one FBO. Avgas is $6.69 a gallon, and an AOPA member recently reported a $260 fee for a quick turn. So, AOPA is strongly encouraging the airport board to approve the application for a second FBO to start business on the field.
We have filed a legal brief pointing out that this airport has gotten close to $90 million in federal funds over the years. When you get federal funds, you commit to fair pricing, fair reasonable pricing, no unjust discrimination, and no grants of exclusive rights.
EAA and the General Aviation Manufacturers Association support AOPA's position, and Meade said this is just the first of upcoming actions to get fair prices for general aviation pilots.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming is part of a larger AOPA effort that's directed at more reasonable pricing, whether it's ramp fees, whether it's fuel prices.
The vast majority of FBOs play fair and square with reasonable pricing. We support that. But if you have crossed the line, if you've been hit with excessive fees at an airport, we want to hear about it. You can report it on our websites.
The push to privatize air traffic control has fired up again in Congress. This week, the House Transportation Committee held a hearing on, quote, the need to reform FAA and air traffic control. Committee Chairman Bill Schuster has been pushing for a long time to separate air traffic control from the FAA and give it to a nonprofit corporation.
Government is not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. And we see all over the world people turning to the private sector. Whether it's Europe or it's Asia, it's Australia, New Zealand, Canada, look around the world. Countries, governments are looking to partner with the private sector because they see they do it better.
The people testifying at the hearing were pretty much stacked in favor of privatization. Joe Brown of Hartzell Propeller was the lone businessman and GA pilot on the panel.
Many are arguing that what we should do is spend the next 5 to 7 years focusing on the structure and the governance of our air traffic organization. I don't like that risk profile. I don't think we should be distracted. As a businessman, I think that what we will find is that we will raise more questions than we can answer, questions that don't have clear answers, and questions that will burn up precious time trying to answer, like, how will we assure equity among users? And how will we finance this organization? And what borrowing risk can it take? And what about new market entrants? How do they fit into the picture? And that doesn't even address whether the people are better served by the structure after we transfer so much national wealth to it.
Congress will have to decide the issue by September in a new FAA authorization bill. Right now, there is little appetite among many House and Senate members for splitting up the FAA.
But Congress has already made a positive change in aviation regulation, Basic Med. And in just 3 weeks, more than 5,000 pilots have completed Basic Med certification and are back flying. You can find out if you're eligible for Basic Med in our Fit to Fly resources. We also have the education course you'll need to take to be Basic Med certified. It's all on our website, of course.
After 12 years, Textron is stopping production of the Citation Mustang. The Mustang was the first fully certified, very light jet, and more than 470 were produced. The Mustang was extremely popular when first introduced, but demand has decreased significantly over the last few years. With the Mustang out of production, but the slightly larger M2 becomes the entry-level jet in the Citation lineup. Despite the Mustang's demise, business jet shipments were up by more than 6% in the first quarter of this year. That's according to the General Aviation Manufacturers Association. Piston engine shipments were up about the same amount, but turboprops were down. Honda had a good first quarter, delivering 15 Honda jets.
Another small jet is beginning to appear in the skies. The Cirrus SF50 Vision Jet is now being delivered to customers, confounding air traffic control, among others. I got to fly the single-engine jet last week, and it's everything Cirrus said it would be. There's a reason for the unusual egg shape of the Vision Jet. Cirrus started from the inside, creating a wide, comfortable cabin big enough for 5 adults and 2 children. Plenty of room to stretch out. Door and seats designed for easy access for everybody. And then they designed the airplane around the cabin space.
So the Vision Jet was, we designed the Vision Jet. It was supposed to be the natural step up from our SR22 to the Vision Jet. So our owners who are used to flying the SR20, 22, 22T, Vision Jet's kind of the next logical step-up aircraft.
The step-up is easy. All controls and switches are exactly where an SR20 or 22 pilot would expect to find them. Systems are highly automated.
Like the pressurization, there's nothing to do. It knows your destination and what the elevation of your destination is, automatically schedules the pressurization.
Because as we were mentioning, all the systems are integrated. We're not sitting here studying all the engine instruments. They're in the green, they're good. If something's wrong, we'll get an enunciation. And then we'll go to a checklist to figure out what to do next.
Simple enough that a guy with no turbine time is now demonstrating the airplane.
All my experience has been pretty much mainly single engine, normally aspirated airplane, piston airplanes.
And by the third flight, I was comfortable flying the airplane without any help from the right seat. Matt says a few hundred hours of SR time will set you up for success in the Vision Jet. The jet is designed for the successful owner pilot. It fits a niche above high-performance pistons and below more complex turbine aircraft. At 300 knots, hey, it's not the fastest, but more speed, that would cost you at least $1 million more.
Really fits a regional mission. It was really designed to, fly 800 pounds, 800 nautical miles, or 1,000 pounds for 600 nautical miles.
In keeping with that regional mission, the Vision Jet fits into smaller airports. The 85 to 95 knot approach speed keeps things slow and easy, even on a circling approach. And oh, of course, it's fun to fly. So Melissa, it was really a lot of fun. It's quite an amazing airplane, fits an unusual niche, and so we'll have more about it in an upcoming issue of AOPA and Pilot Magazine. One of the funnier things, though, was air traffic control. They didn't know what to do with this. They didn't know what it was. One controller was clearly a pilot. He was asking all sorts of detailed questions about what that airplane is and how fast will it go and what kind of runway length do you need. And then we landed at Cleveland, and the line guy there parked us right up front, taxied us right by a bunch of business jets, parked us right up front. He says, "I've never parked one of these before. I'm going to give you rock star parking." So,
some days it's good to be you.
Yep, it was a fun time.
Good.
Well, when we come back, heading around the world to set an example.
And landing so short, you won't believe it. We'll be right back.
Did you know it's now fully legal to fly your plane to Cuba? Call the experts at Cuba Handling and we'll walk you through the process. Our team will make your flight simple and will create the experience of a lifetime. From hotels to cultural experiences, we do it all. Visit CubaHandling.com.
Call it the unmanned Oshkosh. AUVSI Exponential is a large gathering of UAS pilots, companies, and experts. AOPA headed to Dallas for the event. Drones are part of our You Can Fly program. Read more about the conference and sign up for the AOPA Drone Pilot newsletter on our website. Canada's premier military demonstration team is standing down for a while. The Snowbirds have canceled appearances at 6 upcoming air shows. It's a safety stand down because the team leader feels the squad needs more practice and training at their Moose Jaw home base. Bad weather had cut into their practice time. The Rochester, New York air show was canceled after the Snowbirds dropped out, which is a real shame because they are really a fantastic team, really fun to watch. Did you see them, Oshkosh?
I did, and they caught my eye. I've been, like you, I've been to a lot of air shows, so you tend to see things a lot, and they're really different and unique routine,
Hope
I
to
think.
see them back flying soon.
Definitely. It's a most improbable story. A young female refugee from Afghanistan thought her future was an early marriage and raising a family, just like almost all young women from her part of the world. Then as a teen, she flew in an airliner, and now she's taking on the world to show that women can do anything. AOPA Live executive producer Warren Morningstar has her story.
Shasta Ways is getting ready to join an elite group of aviators, pilots, who have flown around the world. They call themselves Earth Rounders. And why is this young Afghan-born woman doing this?
DreamSoar is trying to inspire as many young kids to get into STEM education, and primarily the reason is because the STEM fields are growing, not just in the U.S., all over the world, and we want to make sure that there's enough women represented in these fields so we can have more of a diverse, well-rounded team working on the STEM fields.
90 days, 18 countries, 30 stops, and at each stop, Shasta will feature accomplished women, show videos, and inspire.
Part of what DreamSoar is doing is sharing these videos for young kids to see real live examples of what STEM is, the women who are in these fields, and hopefully getting their attention to start maybe considering the STEM field and the fact that it's really exciting.
She formed a nonprofit, DreamSoar, to fund her mission, a mission that will continue long after her flight. But first, the flight. Her A-36 Bonanza is equipped with tip tanks and auxiliary tanks in the cabin, nearly 300 gallons total, HF radio for over-water communications, and a lot of help from people on the ground. Earth Rounders are a tight-knit, supportive group. 4 of them met Shasta in Columbus, Ohio the night before her first leg to offer support and advice.
All right, guys, so what is your best piece of advice for me?
First, it's a great day for women in aviation, and more importantly, just follow your gut.
My best advice for you is there will be a point somewhere along the trip where you'll start to have butterflies in your stomach and you're wondering whether you're doing the right thing or not. Just smile and keep going. You're so well prepared, you've made your plans, you're supported by a great team. Just keep going and it'll all be great.
Now, the choice of Columbus was purposeful. Jerry Mock, the first woman to fly around the world, departed from Columbus, and Shasta counts Mock among her mentors.
She's going to be a great role model, just like Jerry was to her. So I love that Jerry kind of passed the torch onto Shasta, and then she's going to take it around the world.
And on Monday, with 2 other Earth-rounding Bonanzas as escort, Shasta took off. In Columbus, Ohio, Warren Morningstar, AOPA Live.
You can follow Shasta on her flight and learn more about DreamSoar on her website. That's an inspiring story.
Yeah, that is a very good story. I hope her the best of luck to her when she makes that trip. Pretty
Absolutely.
Cool. Pilots' desires to keep flying know no limits, and sometimes they try to convince themselves and others that what happened didn't happen, as in this story about Dr. Jonathan Sakier's friend and his incident.
Hospital staff were attending to him in his critical condition. He was saying, "I have to fly. Tell them it's only heartburn. I have to fly." The paramedic who had transported Martin said that they often hear that from pilots.
In this Flywheel episode, Dr. Sakier urges pilots to not be in denial about their health, and he offers some tips on what you can do to avoid a heart attack. You can find the video on AOPAlive.org. Just scroll down to the page to find the episode. It's the best of college aviators. More than 380 college aviation students gathered at Ohio State University for the Safety and Flight Evaluation Conference. Most of us know it as SafeCon. 27 schools went head-to-head to compete. Embry-Riddle Prescott takes home the top prize. Liberty University, second place. Read more about the event on our website. They say it's a new record. Imagine landing in just 10 feet, 5 inches.
According to officials in Alaska, 1 pilot did just that. AOPA's Mike Collins has the story from Valdez, Alaska.
You've seen the videos on YouTube. Tundra-tired tail draggers landing like helicopters on the Arctic tundra. But in Valdez, it's serious business.
We got started as an economic development idea.
Now in its 14th year, the Valdez Flying and Air Show is a big draw. But the main event is its legendary STOL competition.
The contest has evolved a little bit, but how we do it now is you score a takeoff and a landing pair. You are scored when the main wheels leave the ground, the distance there, and then you have to be on the line or beyond with the main wheels on landing, and then how much it takes you to get stopped.
And pilots from all over make the trek to show off machine and skills.
Taking off can be about horsepower, and landing is about pilot technique.
One pilot shows that he has both. That's Frank Knapp flying his one-of-a-kind little Cub.
Yeah, the fuselage itself started out in 1939 J3. We rebuilt everything around it, and eventually including the fuselage pretty much.
The modified airplane weighs 800 pounds and is powered by a 180 horse O320.
It's just kind of the culmination of all those things that over flying years you wanted to try, and this has given us a platform to be able to try it.
And clearly, it worked.
10 feet, 5 inches. 10 feet, 5 inches.
Knapp won the competition and set a new record with his 10-foot, 5-inch landing. The 14-foot, 7-inch takeoff was pretty impressive, too. Fly-in President Joe Prax said the conditions in Valdez are perfect for that kind of flying.
The STOL contest works so well here because we have a steady sea breeze, we're obviously at sea level, and as you may have noticed, it was a little cooler than other places.
Count on those cool and breezy conditions to fuel a red-hot competition. In Valdez, Alaska, Mike Collins, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Mike. You can see more photos from the Valdez STOL competition on our website. Have you been?
I have not. I've seen the video. You've been?
I've been.
Oh, cool.
Wow, one place I've been that you haven't.
But it's as impressive in real life as it is in the videos?
It is an amazing event. I would recommend it to anybody. It's just unlike anything I've ever been at, and it's just so much fun. It was just a couple of days of hundreds and hundreds of tail draggers.
Wow, that does sound like fun and amazing flying. Hey, that's it for this edition. We hope to see you back here next Thursday for another edition of AOPA Live This Week.
Until then, blue skies.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.